What the f***? Devin Haney's team wants his loss versus Ryan Garcia overturned and changed into a win. Team Haney has sent a letter to the New York Commission suggesting they give Devin the win instead of a no contest, no decision ruling. What is going on? Find out right now in this video. Let's dive in.
I swear I'll lose my head if it wasn't attached. Boxing continues to get stranger and stranger, and we must talk about it. Team Haney has petitioned for Devin Haney's sole loss to be reversed. They want that loss to now be a win, and they want Ryan Garcia to inherit that loss. Man, oh man, I love my job. I really do. You guys keep me under control. You guys keep me entertained with your comments. Mostly good, some bad, but this sport is like no other sport. And I wouldn't change it for the world. Like when you get into boxing, it's just like the Wild Wild West. And at the end of the day, you got to expect the unexpected. So in this video, I'm going to break down what you guys seen in the title. If you follow me on social media, you will already have gotten a glimpse. But this is going to be a deep dive so we can really look into what's happening piece by piece. There is an 8-page letter sent from Devin Haney's team to the powers that be, the New York State Athletic Commission, which has been obtained by a boxing reporter, and excerpts have been quoted in this document or from this document. And the skinny of it, Devin Haney's team, they're not accepting the loss. Ryan Garcia tested positive. We are still awaiting the B sample, and that's not good enough. So without further ado, I'm going to start off by reading the article. The link will be in the description. Check out the article from Lance Pugmire, and then I'll give my thoughts. So stay tuned. You do not want to miss this. Stay tuned to the end of this video. And here we go. Smash the like button. So you guys see it. Haney's attorney moves for New York to disqualify Ryan Garcia and then name Devin Haney the bout's winner, with Ryan Garcia, of course, being the her. So they want Ryan to taste the L that is currently on Devin Haney's record. If you go check his box rec. Devin Haney has requested the New York State Athletic Commission disqualify Ryan Garcia following his April 20th majority decision triumph in a bout later stained by Garcia's positive test. The result had a banned performance-enhancing substance known as Ostarine. Devin Haney's attorney, named Pat English, in an 8-page letter to the commission's top 2 directors, its chief medical officers and lead attorney, offers precedent for the move, and they detailed why his request is justified. So in layman's terms, they want to do something that is not typically how this situation would handle or be handled, and they want to set precedents and have Devin Haney pretty much the first fight in boxing that I can think of where this has happened, and we'll get to that. And they want, so basically they're telling the commission how to do the job, how to punish Ryan Garcia if they open the B samples and it's the same or whatever the case is, right? So much to go over. Stay tuned. Such a ruling would establish Devin Haney as the winner of the bout, not just the participant, with a no outcome. If disqualified, Garcia would receive a loss. So let me educate people on what this means. Normally, in a situation where a person pops dirty with a failed drug test, it would be a NC/ND. That stands for no contest, no decision, right? So it's almost as if the fight never occurred, right? It's like it never hurt. Like it's like almost like a draw where it's like neutral. And then from that point, the commission would deem what the punishment would be for the fighter who failed the drug test, right? So in this case, if it is found out that Ryan Garcia has no plausible explanation and he does have it in his B sample, then their committee or whatever would decide what the punishment would be. Like, oh, here's a 2-year ban, a 1-year ban, a 6-month ban, and you have to pay this fee or whatever. But in addition to that, instead of the no contest, no decision, Devin Haney's team, they want Ryan punished with an L. So if a fighter pops dirty in the state of New York in boxing, it's likely that they face repercussions, usually some type of probation, suspension, and those suspensions are typically upheld by other commissions, meaning if you're suspended in New York, you likely can't go to Vegas and set up a fight and say, hey, I'll just go to Vegas, or I'm from California, so Ryan can't just stage a fight in Victorville or close to it in LA or something like that, right? So in addition, Devin Haney's attorney is requesting that they handle this case differently for Devin Haney and make Devin credited with a win. Wow. It says, and I quote, "There is a blemish on Mr. Haney's record. He was placed in an unsafe fight under the New York State Athletic Commission's jurisdiction." And right then and there, I almost don't like this because the attorney sounds like he's throwing the New York State Commission under the bus. He was placed in an unsafe fight under the commission's jurisdiction. But here's the thing. With this specific case with Ryan Garcia, the facts, the testing required time. They're saying he tested positive the day of the weigh-in and the day of the fight. So April 19th and April 20th. So they weren't going to get the results back instantaneously. This is not like a Rona test or you get a thermometer and see if you have a fever. They're testing for all sorts of banned substances, which requires time. So if Ryan had previously passed all of his previous tests and then the fight week, then he tests positive for something, it's not the commission's fault that the test did not come back in time. Sometimes that happens. It happened in fights with Latif Coyote and Antonio Tarver and other fights that I could think of where it was later found out. There's a recent one, Adam Kaunaki. He fought a guy, a heavyweight named Cusimano, I believe, something very close to that. Same thing. Adam Kaunaki got knocked out brutally in the fight. He had just signed a new deal with Eddie Hearn, and then the Cusimano dude tested positive. So this off the top of my head because I'm great at my job. Best in the business, and it's not even close. So I don't even like this opening statement. He was placed in an unsafe fight under New York Commission's jurisdiction. If somebody's cheating, it's really nobody's fault other than the cheater or the cheating team, right? So the fact that they're highlighting that it's New York Commission, he was placed in unsafe conditions, that's almost as if like New York would have known when he had previously passed all of his tests. In addition, Ryan Garcia, he said he had to go through mental evaluations because he was doing a lot of crazy antics and stuff beforehand, which we'll get into. Let's keep going. The bout was made a mockery, and in addition to the PED use and prohibited use of IVs, after the bout, Mr. Ryan Garcia admitted that he missed weight and it was tactic to give him an unfair advantage, English wrote. Whoa. This first paragraph, so many issues. Your boy Ego told you they should cancel this fight before they fought. Before there was any failed drug tests, there weren't 2 failed drug tests, there weren't 3+ knockdowns that Devin Haney suffered. I told you to cancel the fight. I told you guys, and anybody who would listen, that Ryan was tripping, his antics were crazy, and in effect, he was essentially unselling the fight. Now, Team Haney is stuck picking up the pieces, and it was an embarrassing night performance-wise. So now they're having to do stuff like this. And they're saying, hey, but Ryan, he later admitted that he missed weight on purpose. I have so much stuff. I don't know how long this is going to be. It says Garcia admitted that missing weight was a tactic to give him an unfair advantage. Pay attention. Now, the amazing thing about Boxing Ego is my work is all online. So there's breadcrumbs. So when things like this arise, I'm able to immediately go back to the breadcrumbs, aka the work I put in to find tweets, to find pieces of information. So again, the first paragraph, they're saying Ryan admitted that he missed weight and it was a tactic to give him an unfair advantage. This is pretty much an attorney or lawyer or whatever arguing on behalf of Devin Haney. So the problem with this first paragraph, the closing, Ryan admitted that he missed weight as a tactic to give him an unfair advantage. Again, Boxing Ego breadcrumbs. 3 weeks ago, the day of the weigh-in when Ryan missed weight, I posted this. It says, and I quote, Ryan Garcia laughs after missing weight and he mocks the weight advantage. Quote, I got a 3-pound advantage. Ha ha. Right? Breadcrumbs. I even included the tweet. So you could see 10:30 a.m. 4/19. Mind you, Haney Garcia did not take place until the next day, right? It got 350,000 views. Obviously, I seen it because I made this post. And Ryan says, and I quote, I feel great and I got a 3-pound advantage. Let's go. Ha 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 ha. Winners do what they have to do. I'm still sharp. Ryan said this at 10:30 in the morning, and Devin Haney's team renegotiated and said, fine, you missed weight by 3.2 pounds. We're still wanting the fight. We still want to continue with the fight. And they proceeded on with the fight. So now when it doesn't work for you, see, this was Ryan Garcia, right? His face was all sucked up. And then he's bragging, ha ha ha, I got all the weight advantage now. He did that before the fight. So how are they crying about it now when they took his money, whatever it was, 650K, 1.5 million or whatever? You took Ryan Garcia's money and decided you still wanted to fight him. In addition, you didn't have any safeguards. Your contract didn't have a rematch clause, and you didn't make him do a same day weigh-in, meaning Saturday morning he has to make weight. This is a team problem. Your team didn't do this. So how are you going to be like, oh, plus Ryan admitted that he missed weight and it was a tactic? You knew he missed weight in the AM when he missed weight. Then he, early in the morning before the ceremonial weigh-in that the cameras caught, he was bragging about it on Twitter, and you still proceeded with the fight. You're now liable. That's how that works. If he did this before the public weigh-in, that means you were still confident and you still wanted to proceed forth with the fight. The only reason we're even hearing about this is because Devin got cooked. So how can we cry now when it doesn't work out for you? But the tactical weight advantage, and I went over this, and after that point, his attorney is still posting and sending 8-page letters to the commission trying to have this reversed and citing stuff like that. So to me, very weak argument regarding the weight. because nobody told you to take Ryan's money. They had Arnold Barboza was a fighter who was on the co-main event in case Ryan messed up because he was acting very bizarre and weird. So you had an understudy. You had someone who, I have the tweets. So you guys really should just drop it. All y'all with the hate comments and stuff, you should drop it because I don't come half cocked. I have the tweets from Arnold Barboza. He said he was willing to step in as soon as he got the call, if or when anything happened. If Ryan failed a drug test, if he chickened out, if he didn't make weight, Barboza was willing to step in. The Haneys and team decided we don't need a same-day rehydration clause. We'll take Ryan's penalty money for missing the weight, the 3.2 pounds, and they didn't request anything like, hey, we want to fight Barboza because Ryan's a clown and Ryan is not serious and we're not going to give an opponent an advantage. Let's move on. It says, quote, as there was no second day weigh-in required by the commission, thus it is impossible to know what he weighed on fight night. Again, now they're blaming the commission again that you renegotiated, you accepted Team Ryan's penalty money, Golden Boy's penalty money, took the money, still thought you could beat Ryan Garcia. And then when all this other stuff comes out after the fact, you're like, hey, there was no same day weigh-in, so we don't know how much he was weighing. So doesn't that work both ways? If we don't know how much Ryan Garcia weighed, we don't know how much Devin weighed because it was all unofficial and neither team agreed to do a same day weigh-in. And I don't want to go too far on this because I'll save it. But this whole talking about the weight section is a waste of time because you pushed forward with the fight. Your team pushed forward to the fight, said you still could beat him. Devin is literally on stage talking to Ariel Helwani, and he says, the weight don't matter. I'm going to end this ussy tomorrow. Notice how his attorney is not mentioning any of these points because they don't suit the narrative and the agenda. But I've already talked about this. It says, this is why, after setting forth the facts below, we request that Ryan Garcia be disqualified, which is more fitting than a no contest in this situation. So you just spent all this time talking about the weight. That's your fault. Your team needs to negotiate better for the well-being of your fighter. It's a dog-eat-dog world. You can't cry over spilled milk. Let's keep going. Says VADA Association reported earlier this month that Garcia tested positive for the banned substance Ostarine. We know that. It says a bombshell that capped erratic behavior by Garcia. Again, he been acting erratic. That's not new. He was acting crazy the whole time, which is why I said they should cancel this fight. Right? And then it says leading up to the fight before he weighed in over 3 pounds, beating a dead horse. You renegotiated the 3.2 pounds. So I'm done. I'm done with the 3.2 pounds. Garcia, who knocked down the WBC champion Haney 3 times, has professed he never knowingly ingested it. So that's Ryan. Says Ryan has requested testing of a B sample. The results are May 22nd. Pump your brakes. Another thing is, even if this move was the move that Team Haney wanted to make, why not wait till everything's out on the table and you conclusively get the B sample results in less than 10 days? As of me recording this video, it's little over a month before, or excuse me, a little over 10 days, or it's actually a little under 10 days before this B sample gets open. Why would you be doing all these letters and stuff and we don't even know the conclusion to this investigation, nor has the B sample been open? This is a terrible look, people. Truly, truly terrible. To me, at best, even if you were going to go this route, wait till the B sample and investigation is done and then put in the recommendation of what the punishment should be. But they're doing it before the B sample has been opened, which makes absolutely no sense. The New York Commission has not officially set a date to determine Garcia's fate because the New York Commission is smart and they understand that they haven't even went through the investigation, heard what Ryan's side is if he tests positive again for the B sample and Osterine. So it's a due process. So this is just bizarre. By pushing New York to discipline Garcia beyond converting the outcome to a no contest, attorney English, so Devin Haney's attorney, wrote, "It has been done before in Olympic sports." This is not Olympic sports, pro boxing. And in the case of Lucien Bute, when he tested positive for Osterine following a 2016 bout against Badu Jack. Horrible fight to reference. See, now I feel like people are I don't know if his attorney knows boxing, but everybody that watched Badu Jack and Lucien Bute, they scored the fight a draw. Everyone who watched it pretty much said Badu Jack was robbed and he beat Lucien Bute, right? So just based on that alone, Badu Jack should have actually won the fight. Like, it was never a draw. In addition to him, he either lost or was a draw, one of the two. But in addition to that, Lucien Bute tested positive for Osterine. So when that was found out that he tested positive for Osterine, then they switched and this is in a whole different commission. This is in DC as opposed to New York, right? So they switched it because I guess Lucien Bute was able to prove that. So the precedents they're using is a guy who failed a test, who really should have lost the fight, whether he was on something or not. I have an interview with Badu Jack, for the record, where he was like, he said he got robbed in the Lucien Bute fight. So the Badu Jack had a couple fights like that where people thought he got robbed. So this is not a good reference point of what Devin Haney is trying to do, because Badu Jack should have won the fight clean. He didn't fail a drug test. The opponent failed a drug test. Devin Haney is the guy who passed his drug test, right? And there's no way he won the fight as it sits, like just watching the fight optically and visually. So we're talking about two different things. Badu Jack should have won the fight no matter what Lucien Bute had in his system. And he proved that he had Osterine from some kind of supplement, so they reversed it. So it's still a weird ask, and it was in Washington instead of New York. Beyond reminding that PED substance usually is dangerous, the attorney noted that both fighters vowed not to use such substances while agreeing to Olympic-style drug testing. I mean, this is just common sense. Haney English wrote, relied on these protections before participating in the bout. This is where it really starts getting weird. Haney later agreed to fight Garcia after the challenger weighed in well over 140 pounds, rendering the non-title bout, blah, blah, blah. Okay. It says, after the bout, Ryan Garcia stated publicly that he lied and he was overweight in order to get a competitive advantage over Haney. This is, again, what we've already talked about from the first paragraph. They keep talking about Ryan Garcia, his weight, and saying that he was overweight on purpose. Ryan said a lot of different things and continues to do such. What don't people understand? So Ryan can easily say that, hey, I was just joking around. And I'll give you guys a quick couple examples. So, for example, breadcrumbs. I'm just going to say breadcrumbs when I've done my job, and then I get to use it as a reference point. This is the day of the weigh-in. Ryan Garcia, he confirms he was drinking alcohol on the scale because Ryan said on stage to Ariel Helwani that he was drinking alcohol. That's literally what he said.
That's beer. That shit was fire. What do you say to hell?
He said he was drinking a nice beer and it was fire. Later, the same Ryan Garcia stated it wasn't in fact beer. Look, so this is the post, Boxing Ego. Ryan confirms he was drinking beer while weighing in after missing weight. This is before the fight even took place. So Ryan claimed he was drinking beer. He had what appeared to be a beer bottle, but then people were like, man, how's he drinking alcohol and how is he allowed to fight and all this type of stuff. Ryan confirmed that he was just trolling and it wasn't true. It was apple cider, right? So Ryan has said almost anything you can think of, right? Just yesterday, this is what Ryan Garcia said. So after the fight, he still is doing the antics. Ryan Garcia claims he slept with George Kambosos' wife the day after Kambosos lost to Lomachenko. Here's the tweet, in case you guys don't believe me. It says, I slept with George Kambosos' wife, no cap, right? He said, my next goal is to make sure George Kambosos' wife and I are together forever. We want to raise his kids. And then, you know, this was in response to Kambosos. And it says, someone says, saying you publicly slept with a man's wife is low. He said, I know. Oh, well, he should know. Yada, yada, yada. So the man is saying he slept with the pro fighter's fiance, right? Ryan Garcia later comes out and says, I was just trolling. I didn't really sleep with his wife, and he deleted it. Team Haney continues to use Ryan Garcia's tweets and quotes and use them like they should be used in the court of law. And he said a lot of things, right? Another thing that Ryan said was, oh, I'm high as uck, right? I've documented all of this. Ryan said he was high as uck during the fight, right? There's another one where Ryan Garcia, you know, he said, oh, Devin Haney looks like Raven, that's so Raven dad, right? This is just all the weird randomness that he was saying. He's like, oh, Devin Haney looks like that's so Raven dad. He also said steroids, yummy. And he said he wants to fight Conor McGregor. So if we're going to use Ryan Garcia's tweets and what he said a whole lot of everything, right? He's also said that it's a witch hunt and he's innocent, right? So the point I'm making is, if we're going to look, this is Ryan Garcia. I've documented this whole thing. Ryan Garcia addressing the drug fails. He said he didn't do it. So if we're going to quote Ryan, we got to quote him all the way and quote him with everything that he said. The Haney team, they are using specific things and trying to build their case. Ryan also said steroids, yummy, after failing drug tests, after professing his innocence. He said steroids, yummy. It's all documented. You guys see. The point I'm making is Ryan was mentally evaluated because he was doing a whole lot. He was very erratic. He was talking crazy, doing all these skits and all these things. So how do we know what parts of that were true? That's what I'm saying. They're literally quoting what they believe to be the damning, like smoking gun things that he said, but he also professed his innocence. He also said he smashed somebody's wife and fiance, and none of that stuff was true. He said he was drinking beer, and then that wasn't true. So them quoting all these miscellaneous tweets seems like a desperate Hail Mary attempt to me. After Ryan publicly stated he lied and he was overweight and stuff, you're trying to use his quotes against him, but he did too much. That's why I said it was a win-win for Ryan. Read this, or let me read it to you. Had Ryan Garcia not lied about his purpose, Devin Haney would have not proceeded with the bout against him and or would have taken steps to protect himself. What does that even mean? Had Garcia not lied about his purpose, he told you, I miss weight in the AM. Now I got the weight. I just showed you guys the tweet. He literally said before the ceremonial weigh-in, now I got the weight advantage. Ha ha ha. Good for me. Winners win. Something to that effect. I just showed you right here. He literally said that. So what are they talking about? Had he revealed his true purpose or whatever they're saying? He says, I feel great. I got a 3-pound advantage. Let's go. I don't know how much more clear somebody can be when it comes to revealing their purpose. So they're still talking about, oh, Ryan was overweight in order to gain a competitive edge over Haney. Had Ryan not lied about his purpose, Haney would have not proceeded. He told you what it was. You're pointing out all of his other tweets that you think are damaging to him, but you're not posting how he told you before the weigh-in that I got the weight advantage. And the other thing is you can't really prove the intent behind it. Somebody missed weight, somebody missed weight. So if Ryan didn't tweet anything, then he still missed weight. You have an executive decision that you need to make. Do you want to proceed with the fight or not? That's it. It's pretty cut and dry. Do you want to keep fighting the person that missed weight? If yes, what are the penalties? Renegotiate. Is there a next day weigh-in, which they elected not to do? Do I get paid a fine per pound? And you keep it pushing. So let's talk precedents. A fighter that I know personally, I've worked with, is Andres Fonfara. You guys see it. The most glaring example of Chavez Jr. career came in 2015 in his match against Andres Fonfara, a Polish fighter, where Chavez Jr. missed weight by a surprising 4.4 pounds. This blunder not only cost him a substantial portion of his purse, but also raised serious concerns about his commitment and professionalism. So again, this is nothing new under the sun, and Chavez Jr. missed the contracted weight by more than Ryan Garcia. Ryan's was 3.2 pounds. Chavez missed by over 4.4 pounds. Guess what? In that same fight, Andres Fonfara decided to continue to fight Chavez Jr. in 2015, despite him weighing 4.4 pounds the day before, higher than the contracted weight limit. And then he taxed him. Fonfara made more money because Chavez Jr. missed weight by an egregious amount. Tisk, 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 shame on you. But let me tell you this, on Showbox, Chavez Jr. versus Fonfara results, Andres Fonfara dropped Chavez Jr., who then quit on the stool. So I just gave you precedents of a person, Andres Fonfara, who elected to continue fighting Chavez Jr. That's him right there, despite Chavez Jr. missing weight by over 4 pounds, 4.4 pounds, and he still beat the brakes off of Chavez Jr. and he still dropped and then made him quit on the stool in the fight. That didn't happen with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. So they keep hanging on to this, hey, he's unprofessional. Yes, he is unprofessional. He should have made the contracted weight. But if he was so unprofessional, you shouldn't have taken his money and agreed to continue with the fight. Now that you lost, it's a problem. If Devin would have destroyed Ryan Garcia or beat him like he beat Regis Prograis, we would never be hearing about the 3.2 pounds. People would be like treating Ryan like they treated Chavez Jr. Oh, he's undisciplined. And the funny thing is this with the weight. When Ryan missed weight by 3.2 pounds, Devin Haney and his team proceeded with the fight, and the Haneyacks were even more happy because they thought that was even more of a sure shot victory, because it appeared that Ryan Garcia was spiraling the whole buildup for the particular fight. And when they seen that he was undisciplined or he missed weight by 3.2 pounds, that made him even more emboldened and more confident that Devin would do the deed and beat Ryan Garcia, because they thought it represented Ryan wasn't really training and Ryan was really BSing and Ryan Garcia wasn't really ready for the fight. But then when Ryan showed up and beat Devin Haney in that fashion, now it's something else. This is terrible, people. This is truly terrible. It says Haney has since reported that he was surprised by the power of Garcia's punches. Devin Haney's attorney wrote, Ostarine is sold on the black market. Why are you telling the commission how to get Ostarine? Like they don't know what methods you know, any seedy behavior is done. At no time did Devin, just listen to how this is written. It says, at no time did Devin Haney consent to engage in a bout against a boxer who was positive for a performance-enhancing drug and would not have proceeded with the bout had he known. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? The words that are coming out of my mouth. This is written that Devin Haney didn't approve to fight a fighter on PEDs. Do you know how many boxing matches somebody has tested positive for a fight? Nobody approves to fighting someone with PEDs in their system. But a big problem with how this is written, and I will break it down, if you guys are getting any value out of this lesson and this baptism, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. Big problem here. The test results didn't come back until the Canelo Munguia fight week. That's pretty much around the time, and that fight was 14 days later, right? That's why the Haney and Ryan Garcia fight was supposed to happen in Vegas and they moved it to the East Coast, right? So because they wanted to not be in the, you know, same time frame in Vegas when Canelo was fighting 14 days later. So here's the problem with this. This says at no time did Devin Haney consent to engage in a bout against a boxer who was positive for a performance enhancing drug and would not have proceeded with the bout had he known. This sounds like spoiled brat talk. Nobody wants to fight someone who's juicing or cheating or a PED is in their system. But the problem here is Ryan is claiming his innocence. He's claiming he doesn't know how Ostarine was in his system. And he's saying that something underhanded is being done or a contaminated, tainted substance or whatever supplement is the reason for it. So since the test results hadn't come back, then you're acting like Ryan would have walked to Devin Haney and say, hey, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm juicing. I'm on PEDs. He says he doesn't know. This is just what he's claiming, that he doesn't know how this got in his system. So this statement is foolish. They're saying Devin wouldn't have proceeded had he known. Nobody knew. According to Ryan Garcia, he's saying he didn't know how this got in his system. The commission didn't get the test results in time because it took time to test for all these things. Devin team didn't know. Ryan saying him and his team didn't know. And the commission clearly was in the dark. So it's like, what does this even mean? And then you look at all the people. You think David Price wanted to get knocked out by Erkan Tepper, who later tested positive? I mean, y'all got to get real. Nobody wants to fight someone who's cheating, but the problem is you don't know. If the test didn't come back, nobody knew, you know, except for possibly a person who cheated. But even with that, Ryan's saying he didn't intentionally ingest anything. So he could argue from his side that I didn't know that this was in my system because I've never cheated, and he doesn't have a history of cheating. So this is just a weird and bold move from Team Haney. The New York State Athletic Commission would not have permitted the bout had it known of the positive finding. You see how this is written? It's just a lot of Captain Obvious type of stuff. Representatives of Mr. Ryan Garcia have publicly suggested that Ostarine was found in trace amounts. In fact, while there are a couple commissions in the U.S. which permit trace amounts of Ostarine, New York, WADA, and VADA are not among them. The sample quantities were 35 to 60 times the amount considered in those jurisdictions to be trace amounts. It says the attorney also attached a purported YouTube video of Ryan Garcia taking a fluid with a yellowish tinge through an IV in his letter, writing, "IVs are well known way to avoid positive drug tests as they dilute the urine." So now we're just getting to full on like snitching and speculation. Listen, I'll probably make a separate video about the IVs. The IV in question is Ryan Garcia on a DAZN programming, their shoulder programming. Ryan Garcia is getting some sort of IV, it appears, on camera. So my thing is this. They're saying basically IVs can be used to flush your system or as masking agents, if you will. Here's the problem with that. These clips were made available in the shoulder programming well before the day of the fight. So you had an opportunity to watch the shoulder programming that was put out by DAZN, the platform that put out the pay-per-view and distributed the fight. So you mean to tell me Ryan is cheating on camera in front of DAZN cameras, who's putting on the bout, and it's being documented why he's doing it? So he's doing something illegal, and Devin's team is arguing, oh, they included the video. It sounds like there's some kind of liquid with yellowish tinge, like the packet or whatever, the IV. I mean, unless you have some extra footage from DAZN cameras or something, what are we gonna do? Like, what is that? You got to look at, like in a court case, there's circumstantial evidence and there's damning evidence. If this is something you didn't catch in real time, where's the IV package? You know, again, unless there's something on DAZN's cameras, like some BTS footage. And here's the other thing. Why would a fighter be so bold to be doing PEDs on DAZN cameras? Like, come on, bro. Like, just listen to what I'm saying. This is a scene from the programming, and Ryan is just casually sitting there, and it says, like, you can even see the watermark is like, oh, watch DAZN Haney Garcia. So you mean to tell me that Ryan is just casually masking PED use in front of DAZN cameras? That just seems insanely bold. And wouldn't, if somebody's like flushing out drugs or whatever on camera, your team didn't see this and catch this? Like, imagine Floyd Mayweather and then Manny Pacquiao or something, he's about to fight him and they're doing a 24/7 or all access on Showtime, and Pacquiao's just sitting up here doing something illegal on camera on the BTS all access 24/7. And then you wait till after the fight to mention it. I mean, this is really looking bad to me. So now they're talking about the IV, and you see how it's all over the place. They're talking about Ryan missed weight on purpose. They're talking about IVs had a yellowish tinge. They're talking about, oh, the Ostarine. And the Ostarine is probably what you should focus on. But they're talking about all these subpoints, whatever. Among many claims Garcia has made before the bout, English seized on one in particular. It says, adding insult to the commission and the sport of boxing, Ryan Garcia has alleged that he was high as uck during his bout with Devin Haney. This is very clearly disrepute of the sport of boxing and a derivation of the, like, basically saying it makes the New York Commission look bad and the sport look bad. Bro, he said he was high as uck. He also said he was married to some random OnlyFans chick and she was pregnant. He said he slept with Kambosos' wife. He said a whole lot of stuff, but none of that's included in here because he was saying just too much random stuff. He literally was saying anything you could think of. He wanted to marry one of the Kylie Jenner, and he wanted to fight Timothy Chalamet. I mean, he was talking about Tom Holland. He cussed out Michael B. Jordan. I mean, literally, this is their argument. And Ryan literally said everything you can think of, beef with several people. It says, in closing remarks, Devin Haney's attorney says Ostarine is specifically listed as a prohibited performance-enhancing drug on the commission's website. More Captain Obvious. Why would you need to write an 8-page letter to the commission's, the head people, and tell them what is banned on their own website? I mean, get real, people. It says, and an IV is expressly prohibited. Intentionally coming in overweight is a violation. What are you talking about? You can't prove if someone did something intentionally. You could say, oh, he tweeted it was on purpose, but I've already went through that. It's a straw man argument in the court of law, because he also said he was married to this chick, and then come to find out he said he's not. He said he bought some chick a ring, and then come to find out that was fake too. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, how are we going to say, like, the point I'm making, what does it say? In the context, the commission has full authority to issue a disqualification that would change the bout to a win for Mr. Haney by disqualification. Bro, they are so desperate to get a win and an undefeated record instead of the no contest. On behalf of Mr. Haney, we request that the change, in addition to such suspension as deemed appropriate by the commission. This is, I've never seen this in boxing since I've been in it. You're saying that Ryan is basically doping with whatever rehydration or whatever. I don't know, because I'm not Ryan's team, but he's just casually, like he's literally on DAZN cameras, casually juicing up or using masking agents in front of rolling cameras. Who cheats like this? Like, I mean, just be real. Like, just put yourself in the mind of a crook. It's not like this was a hidden camera, a police sting, somebody didn't know they were being recorded. Who is literally going to cheat? So that's what I'm saying. The more Haney is pushing, the more sus this looks. So Ryan somehow passed all of his drug tests leading up to the fight. Then the week of the fight, he waits till the day before the weigh-in, the 19th, and the day after, and then mysteriously now he has stuff in his system. Then you're bringing up, oh, there's a yellowish tinge and he was using some kind of IV. You don't have the IV. You mean Ryan is just so cocky and brazen where he's just doping up and flushing his system to rid himself of dope in front of DAZN's cameras that he knows are rolling, and he's having a conversation. It's not like he's just, like I said, it's not like it's some hidden camera. Like he checked into an Airbnb and they had a hidden camera or something that was recording his every move. This is just insane. All this so Devin could be deemed the winner. And here's the other thing with Devin being the winner scenario is, okay, let's say the commission is like, we buy it. We'll go against our normal rules of making this a no contest, no decision. Right? Then what? Okay, now it'll show Devin's undefeated. He'll have a +1. Ryan will have 2 losses, Tank loss, and then it'll show he lost by disqualification. But you can't disqualify our memories. The world's seen it. The memes were already made about Devin Haney. The video is already out. You can't unmeme a meme. So the damage, like I've been saying, is already done. The damage is already done. Plus the punishment and the beatdown was already suffered. So no matter how many letters you write, how many pages it is, no matter what's in the B sample, no matter what the commission decides, you can't reverse those things. You know, even if they reverse the box rec and say, hey, Devin's undefeated, you think these other fighters are going to be looking at you as the same invincible aura, or like, hey, this guy is super duper hard to beat because they overturned it. You know what I mean? And then there's going to be some people who hate and they say, oh, you're condoning cheating. This is not condoning cheating. It's the process doesn't make sense to me. Devin's doing interviews the day the news came out with ESPN. Literally. The day the news came out, he's doing an interview saying, oh, I knew something was up. that looks fishy. Then we're like 8-9 days away from the B sample being open, and they're putting in requests like you're at a wedding and the New York State Athletic Commission is the DJ, and you're like, oh, play that new Usher. Yeah, play that Usher, baby. You know, play that Nip. I want to hear that Nipsey. Put that new Kendrick on. You're putting in requests for what his punishment should be to a commission as if they haven't went through this before. And then you wanted to set precedents in New York. It's just a weird move. It's a weird move. And then even if you are successful, what does it prove? You can't erase our memories. You can't. There was still shortcomings from Devin Haney, no matter what, that was shown. He got dropped like over 4 or 5 times or whatever it was. And then it doesn't also account for, they're building their case. What about Harvey Dock? What about the refereeing job? What about the fight should have been stopped? What about the corner or the ref should have threw in the towel or ended the fight? Do you see what I'm saying? Devin already kept his WBC belt. That was already intact. But this stuff is extra. This is real extra.